Alright. I thought it was supposed to be a nice weekend, and imagine my surprise when I woke up at 2 this morning to let Teeter out and there was snow on the ground. When I went to bed at 10, it wasn't doing anything, so it has melted a fair bit. There was a lot more, but still, I'd appreciated it if there wasn't any. Oh, I forgot this thing was hooked to the brush hog. Anyhow, we are going to, once I figure out how to arrange this menagerie of crap, get the mower set up for the 77. I figured that's the better option since the 66 is going to be, well, you're going to start off, it's going to be on the grain drill, and then it goes from the grain drill to the sprayer, and by the time spraying season gets done with, you're 2/3 of the way through hay season, so might as well just set it up for the 77 since it is kind of jobless for the most part. Might as well do something with it. And I sure as heck ain't gonna take a narrow front tractor to that hay field, not with the hills that are in it. Especially the one with a turn at the bottom. So I have to figure out how we're going to arrange these here tires. Hold on. Okay, I need to get that thing out of here and get it over to my house now that I got room, and then obviously the best thing to do with these tires is get them on the tractor, but we need decent weather for that. My original plan before the snow happened was I was going to get the mower put on this thing, get that taken care of, and then run it home, hook on the grain drill, and pull the grain drill back. Well, now with the roads wet, I don't want to pull the grain drill. I don't want to take the mower over there with the roads wet and have it wet and rusting, and I don't want to pull the grain drill over here with the roads wet. So probably not going to be doing that today, so I'll have to figure out a way to stuff it back up in here all hooked up for the time being. But anyhow, okay, so hooking this up to the tractor is pretty straightforward, although I think I'm going to have to make 2 changes on the tractor in order to make this work. I think I might have to move the supports back for the drawbar cradle and level the drawbar out, because right now it's tipped down. And then I think I'm going to have to right now, and I don't remember the exact situation why it ended up that way, this has a drawbar in it out of a 60, and it's shorter. Do you remember why we changed the drawbar in this thing? I know it came out of that 5-speed. But, and I can either take you on the 66 and show you, or I can just go get, I think that Super 88 we got's got a drawbar in it that I can throw in it. But if you look here on this here illustration, the drawbars on the fleet lines and the supers and the 3 digits had 2 holes in them because there was an option for a hammer strap on these drawbars. Don't really see it, but there was an option. And the drawbar is longer. So in order to get the mower straight in line with the tractor, got to have the right drawbar in it. So I'm probably gonna have to throw the right, or I think that Super 88 we got has a drawbar in it. If not, that Super 77 we have should for the time being. So I'm probably gonna have to throw the right drawbar in it and get the cradle leveled out. But this is how it's set up for the fleet lines and supers, and then the 3 digits have a different setup, which I believe the 3 digits for one had a wider drawbar strap, and then they had more holes in the drawbar, so that's why it requires different setup. But they got all sorts of stuff. There's a for the fleet lines and supers with 3-point HG OC3 OC6 crawlers, John Deere's. I'm assuming that's, well, it says it says all this stuff below serial number, but then 50, 60, and 70 tractor, but that looks like the back of an unstyled Deere. So you wouldn't think that would have a whole lot in common with a 50, 60, and 70, but apparently it did. Alice WD, Alice CA, Farmall Super C. Well, John Deere ANBBW, I'm assuming that's the styled A's. Oliver Super 44 with a swinging drawbar. And then that's a Super 50, that's the remote lift for a Super 55. Basically, you took the 3-point apart and used the rock shaft. It had a bracket they put on it that ran a cable back to the lift, and you used the 3-point rock shaft to lift and lower the mower. But anyway, that's what we got to do first, is get the drawbar in this thing situated. So for illustration purposes, the drawbar in this one is basically the tip of the drawbar 5 inches behind the cradle. And it actually has a position in it. You can slide it in one hole, and it basically puts this hole right here. So now I can go show you on the 66. Okay, it's kind of hard to get in here because the way I got it parked, but the drawbar on this one is like 7 1/4. So you're basically 2 inches longer on that drawbar. Unfortunately, that Super 88 did not have a drawbar in it. It's just got the cradle. So I really wish I knew where the actual drawbar for the 77 went. I know we wouldn't have got rid of it. I'm pretty sure we threw that one in there for something to do with tractor pulling. So if nothing else, it might be a little bit of a chore, but I should be able to get one out of that Super 77 back there for the time being. Well, hell, that wasn't even hard at all. Apparently we had pulled the pin in it and shoved it into the cradle to get that thing closer to the wall, so there wasn't even a pin in it. I just had to reach up in there and slide it out. One of these days we'll get that tractor going. One of these days. It needs to move up on the list, but unfortunately it's a long list and there's more important stuff in front of it. Okay, okay, so I got that Super 77 drawbar in, and I got the cradle leveled out. I just had to move it up, or move it back one hole. So with the drawbar set up, swung over like that, we should catch in the drawbar that bolt hole, that bolt hole right there. And then this is already where it belongs, which he ran this on a, I think they ran it on their 80 and I think they ran it on their 77. So in theory, it's pretty much set up the way it needs to be, because actually the only tractor it doesn't mention here is an 80. Interesting. 60, 66, 70, 70. Oh, right there, 80. Okay, yeah. Because in theory, other than pitching the bar, because tire size is going to make a bit of difference, once this thing's set up for this, it should fit a 60, it should fit a 66, it should fit a 70. Any series that use this crate or this drawbar, if you put it on a 3-digit though, because they changed the drawbar cradle and everything, you'd have to move that bracket. But once it's set up for this, it should fit a super on down. Well, I decided I was going to take the PTO shaft off just to have one less thing to juggle on this pool noodle while you're trying to hook it on the tractor. And I was like, surely it can't be that hard. The pin moved and everything. When I start driving it out, it went like 1/8 of an inch and jammed. You drive it the other way, it'd go like 1/8 of an inch and jam. It's because, hold on, which way is it? It was trying to shear the pin. So it'd go far enough that it'd wedge itself. And man, I'm starting to sound like I've been smoking 2 packs a day for my last 20 years. So you have to replace that pin. But I think they just had this in there with a cotter pin in it like normal. I think when I put it back together, I'm going to put it in with an R pin, so that when you do park this thing, you could pull the pin, take the PTO shaft out, set it aside, because this thing is a bear to hook up, and not having the PTO shaft in the way, just it makes it that much easier. So anyhow, I'm going to go get me a snack and then we will continue. Okay, so this part actually, I mean, hooking up a mountain mower like this kind of sucks no matter what you do, but it's not as bad as it appears normally when you have more room. Hold on. So I'm trying to make do with the room I got here. But basically all I gotta do is kind of scooch her over a little bit because we're too far this way. Okay, that kind of helps steady things a little bit. Okay, so we need to be in the third hole over in the drawbar, or the third stop hole over in the drawbar cradle, and right there. So it's just a matter of shuffling around until you can get it where it needs to be, which sometimes is easier said than done if these drawbar cradles have been pinched shut at all. So hopefully we don't run into that issue. right, so before we take this thing out and lay the bar down and start checking squareness to the tractor and whatnot, I want to get it. Man, I wish my voice would come back. It wasn't this bad this morning. I want to get more lift out of the cutter bar, because right now when the bar is laid down and you pick it up, I mean, if it comes off the ground yay far, I'd be impressed. So, to do that, you have several different holes here. You can move this one up here, which would give you more throw in the lift arm. But doing that would also make it decrease your mechanical advantage, so it would make it more force to lift the bar. Or you could go from here to here, but same thing, it would increase the amount of force to lift the bar. Or you've got these 3 holes here, and you've also got some adjustment down in here, but more, this is actually more to adjust. Well, it's got 2 functions. A, it's to adjust for different lengths of bars, because you can get a 5, a 6, or a 7-foot bar on this. This is obviously a 7-foot bar. Or and it's to help adjust. You can set it to where when you pick it up, it will pick up the outer end of the bar first before it picks the whole lift assembly up. So that's more what that adjustment's for. So I'm just going to move this ahead 1 hole and see if that gets me closer to where I want to be. Although this is probably all for nothing, because I think what I'm actually going to do, because I know where there's a parts mower at that has the parts that I need to do it, I am probably just going to end up converting this thing to hydraulic lift. Not really because I think there's anything wrong with the hand lift, but especially like here on the 77, we got all the stuff in the way on this side for the 3-point. And there's just a lot of knuckle knockers. So making it hydraulic would make it, I don't know, on one hand it would make it handier, because then it really wouldn't matter as far as which tractor we put it on, how anything would necessarily, there wouldn't be anything to necessarily interfere with the lift linkage anymore. But then you would have to have it on a tractor with hydraulics, because right now with this, we could put it on I could put it on a 60 if I wanted to. I could put it on the Hart Par if I wanted to. Not that you're going to want to take a steel wheel tractor out in a hayfield, although technically it would aerate it and mow it at the same time. I could put it, if I really wanted to, I think you could even, because the way they design this lever, you've got this adjustment here, so you can adjust where the lever is in relation to the seat on the tractor. And then you've got your actual main latch that raises and lowers or that latches the bar in the up position. So I think there's actually enough adjustment in that if I really wanted to. I could run it on the Super 55 with the hand lift. But ultimately, I just want to get a remote valve set up on the Super 55 anyway, so. Okay, what are we hitting? Huh. Interesting. So apparently there is something in the linkage that physically won't really let it come up any higher than that. Because I'm coming up against something hard. Actually, it looks like Sure as shit, right there at bottom, or it takes all of the stroke out of the lift assist spring. So at that point, you're trying to compress a tension spring, which doesn't work. So I guess my lift height kind of is what it is, and I guess we'll have to play with that linkage down on the bottom and get it to where it picks up the end of the bar more. Because my big thing is when you turn it on the end rows, I don't want it to be dragging. I don't want it to be obviously dragging hay. So yeah, I guess I'll put it back where it was. Well, I guess we don't have to really mess with how high the bar picks up, unless I just didn't have it. Unless the drawbar on my 66 is a notch lower, because when I had it on the 66 to take it over to my house, I mean, the end of the bar was like right down here, but that right there is just about perfect. So anyhow, basically now what we want to do is make sure that the lead angle, meaning the relationship of the bar in relationship to the tractor, is correct. And the book calls out for, on a 7-foot bar, a 2-inch lead angle. So basically what we got to do is, first things first, set the bar down. And it looks like I need to tilt it forward just a hair. This adjustment's a little stiff. Come on, damn you. Well, it was stiff, but it wasn't. Oh, wait. It's because I'm doing it wrong. Hey, look at that. Okay. So that gets the bar just about right. You want a slight, and the book says slight. It doesn't explain what slight is, but it says you want a slight upturn on the guards, which it looks like we've got it. And actually looking at of course the front of the tractor is down a little bit, so that doesn't help none, but honestly it looks like the drawbar could come down almost back to where it was, but I don't know. Everything works better where I got the drawbar. So now that we're here, I made these plumb bobs, and this is all doing it by the book. The book has a diagram with these things in it, the whole 9 yards. You go over the tires like so. You do that there, and then you do the other one. and you get it over the crown of the tires like that. And then you need a straight edge, which I'm going to use this piece of rebar I found that I think is long enough. And basically by going over the crown of the tires like that, the plumb bob gives you a straight line across the back of the tractor. Once everything settles where it wants to be. Make sure we're centered. Kind of want to look at the string more than the nut. The nut's just there for weight. And then you got to come to the end of the bar and pull it back as far as you can get it to go to pull all the slack out of everything. And basically that I don't know if my voice is going to make it through the end of this video. Basically pulling that back pulls all the slack out and simulates the mower having pressure on it from mowing. And then I gotta grab a tape measure. And then what we want to do is they want you to measure off of the very first knife. And we've got about 21. And when you come to the very last knife, and we are at 22.5. So the mower is actually back too far, which is not what we want. So in order to adjust that, we come out here and we move these bolts, which it looks like, actually judging by the wear marks, at one point it was actually in that hole and that hole. Although it's odd, there's a wear mark there and there, but there's only a wear mark there on the back. But anyway, if we lengthen this, then that will swing the bar forward. Some of the grease can't get the wrench on it. Now I'm gonna guess if we only go forward basically half a hole, should be plenty, I would think. You translate that over 10 feet, whatever it is, that's going to be a fair bit of movement. Okay, So we'll come back over here. I want to yank this back again just to make sure. Need to readjust. Hold on here. Okay. Back over here. We're now at 20 and a half. And down here, we're at 20 and a half. So now we're even. So we'll give her another half a hole, because that basically moved it about 2 inches, right? About 1.5 inches, because I thought it was it the first time 22, something like that. All right, lead angle set. Had to move it a fair bit more than I thought. I had to move it 2 more sets of holes to get it to the 2 inches. I got it at 20 1/4 on the inner and 18 1/4 on the outer, so it's 2 inches on the nose. So with that, I think we're pretty good. I'll get my stuff out of the way here real quick and we'll run her up and see what happens. All right, let's see if she'll run under power. Yeah. Can't fit in there with my coat on. Come on, girl. Sit outside for 2 minutes and you want to throw a hissy fit. Nice and quiet. It's actually really quiet. Really quiet. I'm impressed. Table's not out here anymore. Well, it must have limbered up fairly quickly because you shut it off and it'll actually coast to a stop. It's not like it goes and stops, so it must move fairly freely. Now I kind of wish I had some hay to cut, but kind of hard to do that in February, huh? Don't really see any nasty rub marks. I think she'll be all right. So I guess, with that being said, we're gonna call her square. At least for the moment. Obviously I gotta go get another pin for the power takeoff. It's just a 5/16 by 2.5, should be a fairly standard PTO pin. Which, that being said, other than I'd have to get one with a round, or make sure I get one with a round loop so it couldn't catch on anything, but a regular spring or regular PTO pin with the spring latch on it might be a good candidate for that. At least that should be a hardened pin. When I get a parts book for it, I'm going to see about getting, probably won't end up finding one, but you never know. I never figured I would find the parts to rebuild a cutter bar like I did. See if I can find a new old stock grass board, and, well, I'll just get the book and I'll show you what I'm looking for. So hopefully get a parts book for it so I can get some numbers, and never hurts to ask. I might get lucky and find both those pieces new old stock. Same thing, I'd like to see if I can find another spare pitman arm, just to have on hand, because sure as shit, first time I go to use it, that one's probably gonna break. But if I can't find a new old stock one, we'll take that one apart and make another stick for it. I think they normally made those out of something like hickory, but I don't know. You wouldn't want to necessarily use a hardwood, because then it wouldn't snap like it's supposed to, because the pitman arm is, if the safety fails to snap open, you kind of want the pitman arm to break so that nothing else breaks. So that's basically what I got left to do. And obviously if I get time to go get the parts for the cylinder conversion, which basically all it is, and it shows the cylinder set up in here somewhere. Yeah, there's a better picture of it than that. Bear with me here. Right there. There's a bracket that goes right here in these two bolt holes. And what else did I see that was different? Oh, and then you need the hose holder, which goes on that bolt right there, it looks like. And then you just take the lever lift linkage off. Oh shit, here comes trouble. Alright, sorry about that. So anyhow, I stepped in the shop for so long I forgot where we were at, but basically I think I was pretty much done. So yeah, I guess with that being said, I'm gonna see if I can hopefully manage to stuff this rig up back in the barn and still get the door shut. That would be nice, so I don't gotta unhook it for the time being. And I haven't decided what I'm going to do tomorrow yet. Weather's supposed to be nice. I got to get this thing back over to my house if the roads are dry enough, and get the grain drill drug over here. And I really need to get the injection pump pulled off to 1955, because I really got to get that thing down to get rebuilt if I want it back on the tractor before spring. So, and I might have a line on some shelves put down in the barn to put implements on, so I might go get those tomorrow. So I got a lot of stuff to get done, so we'll just have to see how things unfold. But anyway, I guess let's have to see what ends up happening. So that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.